New York Attorney General Letitia James is denying new federal allegations that she misled lenders to get better mortgage terms, calling them politically motivated.
Let me just say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless.
The claims come from a referral sent by the Federal Housing Finance Agency to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. The document accuses James of falsifying property records in both New York and Virginia. Federal officials say she listed a Norfolk, Virginia home as her primary residence in 2023 while still serving full-time as Attorney General in New York. They also allege that in previous years, she identified her father as her spouse on mortgage applications to qualify for better loan terms. Another allegation centers on her Brooklyn property, which she allegedly listed as having 4 units, despite city records showing 5. In multiple interviews this week, including one with Spectrum News, she said the referral is part of what she calls a revenge tour by the Trump administration.
It's important that individuals know that this is nothing more than the continuation of the tour. He went after law firms, universities, immigrants, women.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure you're following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head back to New York because Letitia James is begging for money with the possibility of a federal indictment falling on her head with multiple charges of mortgage fraud falling on top of her. She is now begging her constituents and begging her supporters for money to fight this legal battle that potentially may fall upon her. And this is a weight that financially she definitely cannot carry. And that's what we're going to go through today. Now, one thing that I want to make sure, and that I've made clear before in previous videos, but I want to make clear again, I don't want to hear anything about lawfare. I don't want to hear anything about this is retaliation from Trump. I don't want to hear anything about Trump weaponizing the justice system. This is a precedent that was set by the Democrats pre-election as they engaged in lawfare. So now what's good for the goose is good for the gander. As many have said, you shouldn't throw stones in a glass house. They are the ones that set precedent that if you don't dot every I and cross every T, we're going to come after you. Well, it looks like the same thing is happening to Letitia James now. But get this, Letitia James is still at it. Remember, her entire campaign when she was running for AG was all about taking down Trump. And despite everything that has transpired since she's gotten to office, she's still after this man. She's still trying to take him down. Look at this article here. New York Attorney General Letitia James looking at possible insider trading around Trump's tariff pause. Let's take a look at this article here. New York Attorney General Letitia James is scrutinizing whether insider trading took place in connection with President Trump's 90-day pause on customized reciprocal tariffs announced last week. The examination is in its preliminary stages and is not yet a full-fledged probe, James's office confirmed to the New York Post. Let's hear what one of her Democrat colleagues has to say about this. Liberals such as Senator Elizabeth Warren have suggested that allies of the White House may have traded on advanced knowledge of the tariff pause to make a killing in the markets. And I quote, "It's entirely appropriate to have an investigation to make sure that Donald Trump's family, and Donald Trump's inner circle didn't get advanced information and trade on that information," Warren told CNN. What makes the Democrats particularly diabolical is that they don't just go after Trump. They go after his family. They go after his, quote, inner circle, which are his friends. They don't just want to take him down, but they want to destroy everybody. And what's so interesting, particularly about this possible probe that Letitia James is going to embark on, is that if she wanted to, she could do this to a lot of people, individuals and institutions, within New York State. Look at this article here. Apple buying frenzy ahead of tariff pause raises eyebrows, but Letitia James only has blinders for Trump. Now, we're not going to go through this article right now, but I strongly suggest you do that on your own. But what this article highlights here is that as it pertains to multiple institutions and individuals, there are many of them that made out big on being able to foretell the future concerning when to invest in Apple. There's a lot of potential insider trading that went on with those who purchased Apple stock on Wall Street. But Letitia James isn't going after them. She's not looking into them at all. She's only looking into Trump. You see, this wouldn't even be anything worth bringing up if Letitia James was being fair across the board. As it pertains to insider trading in New York, we're going to go across the board and make sure we're holding everybody accountable. But that's not what she wants to do. She only wants to hold Trump accountable. So once again, I'm not interested in hearing the crocodile tears that are going to come Letitia James's way when it's time to pay the piper and Pam Bondi drops that federal indictment on her head concerning multiple charges of mortgage fraud. And when that happens, or if that happens, fingers crossed, because you get what you deserve, that is going to be extremely costly. Let me show you how much all these cases that Trump was fighting were costing him, right? Look at this article here. Trump spent $76 million over last 2 years on attorneys as legal troubles mount ahead of election. Let's look at the kind of money that Donald Trump had to dole out. And the article reads as such. Trump Save America Political Action Committee paid Bardov nearly $930,000 last year as an expert witness in New York Attorney General's civil fraud case that threatens the former president's real estate empire, according to new Federal Election Commission's filing. Understand, Trump paid one expert witness up to close to $1 million just to be an expert witness, up to virtually $1 million. That is insane. But get this here. An Associated Press analysis of new Federal Election Commission filings shows the payments to Bardov are among $54 million in legal expenditures made last year by Trump's political fundraising machine. The spending came as Trump has been battling multiple lawsuits and dozens of felony charges in 4 criminal cases. Save America accounted for the bulk of payments, with 84% of the committee's spending going towards legal costs. Coupled with FEC data from 2022, AP's review found that Save America, Trump's presidential campaign, and his other fundraising organizations have devoted $76.7 million to legal fees over the 2 years. Believe me when I tell you, if Pam Bondi drops these charges on Letitia James's head, she will not be able to financially survive it. This will bankrupt her. Why am I so confident in stating this? Well, here's why. As you can see here, Letitia James launches Fundraiser seeking donations up to $18,000 per person in wake of alleged mortgage fraud. Embattled New York Attorney General Letitia James is hitting up supporters for big bucks just days after the Trump administration accused her of alleged fraud involving several homes she owns. The money bid is in the form of an invitation to an event on Tuesday from 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m., calling for contributions starting at $500. That's the entry cost. $500 and climbing up to an eye-popping $18,000, the maximum allowed by New York law, in support for her 2026 election bid. And as we all can assume, all this money, for the most part, is going to be shuffled over into legal fees, right? It's no coincidence that all of a sudden she's holding a fundraiser where she's charging up to $18,000 a head just days after she found out she might get slammed with a federal indictment on multiple charges of mortgage fraud. But this little bit of money that she's attempting to raise here, it's not going to be able to help her out because she's not good at raising money. How do I know this to be true? Well, just look at this here. This was from August of 2024. Letitia James has raised over $1 million since Donald Trump trial. What is this article here? Let's get into it. New York Attorney General Letitia James has raised more than $1 million since former President Donald Trump's civil business trial began last October. Since the trial began on October 2nd, James has raised $1.1 million for her next political campaign, according to New York State campaign finance data. What's the point of me bringing this up here? Okay, once again, this article was written in August of 2024. The trial that they're speaking of right now concerning Donald Trump's civil business trial, that began in October of 2023. So we're looking at roughly around 10 months. In a 10-month period, Letitia James was only able to raise $1 million in 10 months. She's going to need a lot more than that if she's going to be able to fight against, let alone successfully win a battle against Pam Bondi's DOJ concerning the mortgage fraud. She's going to need a lot more than that. And this stuff gets very costly. She doesn't have the political cachet to raise an enormous amount of money in a relatively short period of time. And her inability to do this will bankrupt her and put her financially out of business. And we're seeing that happen right now with our man, Eric Adams. Yes, Eric Adams, though his federal indictment has been thrown out and Joe Biden seemingly was unsuccessful in getting Eric Adams locked up, it appears that he may have been successful in bankrupting Eric Adams and putting Eric Adams financially out of business. Let's get into this article here. Mayor Adams is $3 million in the hole for criminal defense as donations dry up. Oh man, Adams. Let's get into it. Mayor Eric Adams is buried under a growing mountain of unpaid legal bills he racked up during his historic bribery case as donors to his defense fund completely disappeared. His Honor has an unpaid tab of more than $3 million for his fight against federal corruption charges, with his high profile attorney, Alex Spiro, billing him nearly $2.3 million, according to the latest public filings. But Spiro's law firm has yet to charge Adams for representation this year, which could add hundreds of thousands of dollars to his growing debt. Quinn Emanuel charged the mayor about $775,000. I'm going to read that one more time. Quinn Emanuel charged the mayor about $775,000 in the last 3 months of 2024. $775,000 in 3 months is crazy. At the same time, the fund failed to collect a single donation this year. He hasn't made a dollar in donations in 2025. Oh my goodness. Look at this here. Let's carry on because it gets worse. Adams also owes the law firm of his former chief counsel, Brendan McGuire, more than $2 million, and his defense fund manager, Vito Pita, nearly $100,000, according to the quarterly filing with the Conflict of Interest Board released late Tuesday. Adams' campaign spokesperson, Todd Spiro, played down the abysmal filing, saying the mayor is exploring all appropriate avenues to address the debt without compromising his duties to the city. Eric Adams is broke. That man is broke. They have completely bankrupted him. This man has well over $3 million in unpaid debt with not a single donation to his defense fund in sight. If Eric Adams couldn't do it, I for sure have no faith in Letitia James being able to actually battle out in court against Pam Bondi's DOJ concerning potential mortgage fraud. And mind you, Eric Adams went into deep debt and he never even went to trial. This is all pre-trial that didn't happen because the case was thrown out. Imagine if Eric Adams actually had to go to trial to defend himself. Lord have mercy. And now let's look at Letitia James. We are at the top of Donald Trump's presidency. He's not leaving anytime soon. So Letitia James is going to have to see this through all the way if the charges do come down. And she will not be able to sustain the financial burden that is going to fall upon her if that happens. And quite honestly, you get what you deserve. That's what she gets. So we'll see what happens as things play out. I'll make sure to keep covering this. But until then, please, thank you for joining me today. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. And most importantly, make sure you're following me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.